Hip-hop music has been successful for many years among adolescents and young adults from different cultures and all over the world. However, this worldwide known kind of music has provoked great controversy among adolescents, parents, law enforcement officers, and educators since the time it was created. But where does hip-hop music come from? Who created this music? It is hated by some and loved by others. Yet it continues to be successful and worthy of study. I'm going to inform you how and why hip-hop can be a positive genre of music and where it comes from. To understand hip-hop music and the artists in this music genre, we must first understand where and why it was created. The origin of rap music is credited to African American people from the Bronx in New York City. Back in the 1970s, this music began within an inner circle of African American adolescents on city schoolyards and street corners. Hip-hop music style started slowly growing in popularity among African American teenagers in the Bronx and quickly expanded to all of New York City's 5 boroughs. By the mid-1970s, neighborhood block parties started playing some kind of music similar to what is known today as hip-hop, which these block parties are still very common in New York today, especially during summertime. I myself have attended numerous of these block parties, being that I'm from Brooklyn in New York City. The 1970s and 1980s also saw the beginnings of graffiti, breakdancing, and rap. All of these factors combined have become strong symbols for this inner group and encourage teenagers to follow rappers as their perfect image. However, hip-hop is controversial and very complex, but hip-hop artists felt this was a way to express themselves and be heard. The controversial and complex side of hip-hop is that the music is very contagious, sometimes cheerful, and is especially intended for the young people, but sometimes the message it sends, the language it contains, and the image it portrays can be vulgar and obscene. It's contradictory to the standard of life that has always followed a format of decency, discipline, respect for each other, and respect for the law. The population is divided into 2 groups. One group defends the lyrics of hip-hop by saying that hip-hop is nothing else than the outcry of the people, the only creative way of expressing their feelings for the conditions and environment in which they are living in. Then the group that opposes hip-hop music feels that rappers are going way too far and that they're abusing their freedom of speech. But the reality is, hip-hop has not been the only kind of music that has been in such a criticized and complicated situation. However, artists and listeners as well can be impacted to a change for the better. Former gangster rapper Napoleon converted to Islam. He formed the group The Outlaws with his friend Tupac Shakur, who was murdered in 1986. Now, as a Muslim, he talks to young people against hip-hop music. He's explained how he's been associated with the biggest celebrities, attended the biggest events and parties, sold millions of records, has had millions of dollars, luxurious lifestyle, and material things, but never had peace until he left that lifestyle and became a Muslim. Young Christians are also getting involved in the rap music industry. Apparently, young Christians believe that the best way to integrate or bring back millions of youth to church is by joining the circle of rappers. After all, this is the kind of music that most of the youths are paying attention to these days. But don't be completely disappointed yet. The music and beat are exactly the same, contagious, cheerful, and of course intended for the young people. But the big difference is the lyrics young Christians are using contains no profanity, no suggestion of sex involvement, no drugs or violence participation. Excuse me. On the contrary, Christian lyrics contains messages that transmit the faith of these young Christians. The lyrics are full of love and positive messages, hoping that non-Christian youths turn their eyes and ears and open their heart to Jesus Christ. Evidently, not all hip-hop music is negative and as corrupt as many people make it out to be. But there are its exceptions, so you must be careful with children or young people who listen to this type of music. What we know on these days as rap and hip-hop music from the beginning had good intentions and come from a specific group of people trying to express their feelings and disappointment due to the standards of life that they were subject to by our society. Then youths, many of them gang members, took over this inspirational art and transformed it into a bad and scary subject called hip-hop music, the same that sent messages that may have misguided millions of youths. But thanks to the hard work of many people and institutions that fought back these types of indecent and unacceptable lyrics, rap music is changing. Nowadays they have acceptable lyrics, and hopefully young rappers continue to change their looks and behavior. excuse me. Parents have the moral obligation to support the youth if they are willing to change. Parents must remember that in their younger days, their parents and grandparents also had to deal with situations like this one. Thank you very much.